Happy Sunday, traders. I hope everybody remembered to push your clocks forward this weekend so you don't screw up on the opening bell tomorrow. The SPY, another red day, and we've had a pretty good fall in about a week from 407.45 all the way down to 385.91. I always look to the left, and certainly it's got an interesting support level, you know, in the mid 370s, 375, and a little bit above that. So if we were to sell off early, you might want to look for an intraday bounce around that area. If we're going to sell off, I don't know. You know, with the whole SIVB fiasco, anything can happen. You see all kinds of things on Twitter. There's going to be a bank run on Monday. This is exclusive to SIVB, and I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know where it falls or how it's going to affect the market. So I'm just going to log in and look for A+ setups, but I'm certainly going to keep an eye on the overall market and the bank stocks. Maybe we get an A+ setup in one of the bank stocks too, so we'll see. But here's what I'm going to be watching. Hold on, I got TDUP in my notes. I'm not in love with that. I'm kind of trying to narrow my list down a little bit. Let me start with WW, which is Weight Watchers. I don't know. I guess it's called WW International now. I don't know. It had that big pop on something to do with diet pills. What would that have been? Tuesday, Wednesday? Yeah, on Tuesday. And straight down ever since. So it's not a bullish chart. You got a lot of people underwater in it. But at the same time now, I would argue you're pretty close to a gap fill and potential for a good snapback bounce. So WW goes on bounce watch for me. You guys know me. I'm in cash every night. So these are stocks that may give me a trade on Monday, right? HOG seems very oversold. It's Harley Davidson, straight down from 47.50 down to 39.76. And we've taken out the lows that I talked about in, I think, Thursday night's video, 39.84. We've taken those out. But what I've noticed over the years is when something's falling pretty far, pretty fast, to take out a recent low, a lot of times you get a nice snapback bounce there. So that one goes on watch for a potential bounce. BBIO had good news, sold off a bit on the gap update. Then the next day ripped after an offering, which was impressive. But now you got 3 days down in a row into that area between the 8 and the 20 that we like. So it goes on bounce watch. I should say it stays on bounce watch. I had it on bounce watch for Friday and there were no trades in it. ARHS, pretty much straight down. And they had earnings. I'm not sure what day their earnings was. Maybe as I'm babbling, I could look it up real quick. But they had earnings, and the earnings, from what I saw, were a beat. So it must have been something to do with guidance that's taken it down. But let me try to find the earnings date. Looks like on March 9th, they announced fourth quarter and full year financials. And that was 6:30 a.m. So that would have been before the open. So after this day, so before the open on this day, right? And it gapped down and sold off again. You do have some support in the $9 area. And again, it looked like there was an earnings beat, but maybe it was something to do with guidance. Anyway, this is another decent setup for a possible snapback bounce. So it goes on bounce watch. HLLY had the big pop on Thursday. Kind of a quiet inside day on Friday, but great relative strength, right, compared to the market. So that goes on long watch. AM holding up very well here. Seems to have found support in the mid 8s, and a strong day for AM on Friday on a weekday for the overall market. So that one goes on long watch. BA is Boeing. This green line it's the 60 day, but basically pretty close to the 50 day, and so Boeing did a nice reversal on Friday on a nice headline. So that had great relative strength to the market. I'm going to try to quickly find you guys the headline. FAA approves restarting Boeing 787 Dreamliner deliveries next week. So that's a nice headline for Boeing. And it had a nice bounce on an ugly day. So looking for that bounce to continue. We'll see if we get a setup. DTC, great relative strength to the market. So that one goes on watch. TOPS, TOPS. Let me zoom in a little bit. So you had this big volume day that topped out at 125, then a quiet inside, and then for a while on Friday it had relative strength, but it did close down near its open. Friday's high 111. So I mean, if you do break that, then you always kind of want to look to the left and say, okay, then maybe 125 and over that, kind of a mini breakout. So I am going to keep it on a chart, but I'm not in love with it. I would have preferred a stronger close on Friday. And lastly, I'm going to go with CZOO, which had great relative strength and great relative volume for the stock on Friday. So that we're going to see if that gives an A+ setup as well. And there was one other. Well, I can't find it. I'm going to leave it at that, and we'll find some other gappers in the pre-market. Let's make sure that we work together in the chat room, and let's all keep one eye on the market and see how the market reacts to that, Silicon Valley Bank, right? And see what happens. So, we'll be vigilant, as always. Anyway, I'm done babbling. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll see you guys in the chat room.